to have a larger crowd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya 'ala as-salah. Hayya 'ala as-salah. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, the compassionate, the one and the only. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the evils within ourselves and the evil consequences of our actions. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to elevate our iman and to strengthen it. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who follow the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him and his ummah until the day of judgment. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who are people of taqwa, to give us taqwa and to strengthen our taqwa, because those who have taqwa, consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah rewards them by giving them steadfastness in this life and accuracy in their actions. Amma ba'd. For nearly 1.5 millennia, the Quran has been studied and is continued to be studied. And for nearly 1.5 millennia, the Quran has been sharing its fruits with mankind. It has been offering guidance to those who look for guidance, answers for those who are looking for answers, solutions for those who are looking for solutions. And the more one studies the Quran, the more it sheds its fruits, the more it bears its bonuses and its benefits. And it seems no matter how much you study the Quran, it is still relevant and beneficial to mankind. And in this regard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَوْ أَنَّ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْلَامٌ وَالْبَحْرُ يَمُدُّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ سَبْعَةُ أَبْحُرٍ مَا نَفِدَتْ كَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if the trees on this earth were to be made into pens, and the oceans and all water were the ink for those pens, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were to write with them, those trees and the ink will deplete before the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these are the words of Allah, meaning every single word has benefit to it. Just like in the Quran, every single word has benefit to it. The order of the letters, the lexicon, the syntax of the Quran is so advanced to the point where the scholars said, and look at the detail they put into the Quran, these scholars, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them. They said that if you were to take any word in the Quran and replace it with a synonym, you will find that the word used in the Quran is the best of those. That is the might, the strength, the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And since the dawn of mankind, since Adam alayhi salam was sent to this earth, until this very day, humans have been studying and researching and developing and advancing in sciences. And the more we develop and the more we learn, it seems like the little we know. Because every advancement in any science opens doors to other things. And it seems like just in this universe alone, the amount of knowledge out there is infinite. We can never fully encompass it. And that is just this universe. How about the next dimension? Or the one above that? Or the one above that until you reach the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at how much knowledge there is in existence. And all of that knowledge started with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of that knowledge leads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It starts with Him and it leads to Him. Because when you observe this universe, you cannot come to a logical conclusion except that there is a creator to it. And in this regard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Were they created from nothing, or are they the creators? This is the only verse that directly refutes atheism, the concept that there is no God. It says, okay, you took that option out. You have two options left. Was this universe created from nothing, or did you yourself create it? And both of those options we know are not valid. There's only one option, that this universe was created. And when you observe the universe and you see the organization, the system it runs, you know that there is one God. There can only be one God. Because when rain comes and it goes into the earth, what happens? You have agriculture, you have vegetation come out. And it happens every single time. To show you that the Lord, the God of the skies, is also the God of the earth. Because if there were two separate gods for each one, the God of the sky would say rain, but the God of the earth would say, I'm not going to give you anything. And when the God of the earth wants vegetation to grow, it'll grow with seemingly no preclude to that. So when we see the organization, the system of the universe, we know for 100% fact that there is only one God. And in this regard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَوْ كَانَ فِيهِمَا آلِهَةٌ إِلَّا اللَّهُ لَفَسَدَتَا. If there was more than one God, other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you would see chaos in this universe. Each God will try and expand their kingdom by battling the other God. Or you would see disorganization in the universe. We do not see that. All of the information in this universe comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it leads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we human beings, why do we study and learn? To better our lives. Because with advancements in the medical field, we save lives. With advancements in engineering, we become more efficient. With advancements in technology, we live a more comfortable life. So the point of knowledge is that we use it to better our own selves. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a gift for you. The one who all of this knowledge and information originated from, subhanahu wa ta'ala, says that He has summarized it all. Took all of it and gave it to you in a small package. It's called as-sirat al-mustaqim, the straight path. He took all of the information that we use to better our lives and said, I will do it for you through the concept of as-sirat al-mustaqim. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises are due to Allah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Maliki Yawmiddin, the sovereign of the day of judgment. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. It is you alone who we worship, and it is you alone who we seek help from. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. Guide us on the straight path. Make us steadfast on the straight path. For those of us who are on it, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who are on it. Say Ameen. For those of us who are on it, this dua, we say it at least 17 times a day. Why? We're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us on it. Because we can easily fall off. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took everything we need, summarized it for us in this package, and gave it to us in the second half of Surah Al-Fatiha, which says, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, guide us on the straight path, sirat al-ladhina an'amta alayhim, the path of those who you blessed and had favor upon. غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, not the path of those who you are angry with, nor those who have went astray. This is for you, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, a gift for you. The Quran in of itself is a gift for you, but in the Quran is Surah Al-Fatiha, which is the greatest gift of all of mankind. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the sirat al-mustaqim to make your lives easier. So what is the sirat al-mustaqim? We can talk about it for a long time, but take these three attributes. Number one, the sirat al-mustaqim is defined. Meaning, we know what it is. It is well defined. We know where the red lines are. We know what is a sirat al-mustaqim, and we know what it isn't. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy for us to comprehend, to understand the sirat al-mustaqim by defining it, letting us know this is right and this is wrong. This is halal and this is haram. This is worship and this is innovation. He made it clear. And in order for a religion even to exist, in order for anything to exist, it needs to be defined. It needs to have a definition, or else it doesn't exist. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defined it for us, and He said, the sirat al-mustaqim is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. The sirat al-mustaqim is praying 5 times a day, fasting Ramadan, giving zakah, doing hajj. The sirat al-mustaqim is believing in the next life, believing the angels, the books, and the prophets, and loving them. That is the sirat al-mustaqim. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was merciful enough with us to where He made the sirat al-mustaqim for those who are in it flexible enough to navigate. Meaning, yes, there is one path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He says, Alhamdulillah alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal-ard wa ja'ala adh-dhulumati wan-nur. He made darknesses in plural, and He made light in a singular form, to let us know that the light to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one, and that is Islam, that is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. But within that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَهْدِي بِهِ اللَّهُ مَنِ اتَّبَعَ رِضْوَانَهُ سُبُلَ السَّلَامِ, the paths to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to give an analogy, imagine a highway. A highway, the road is leading to one place, but in it you have multiple lanes. So that we as human beings are able to function within that, no matter what the time we live in is, the era or the place. No matter what situation we are in, we are rich or poor, healthy or unhealthy, strong or weak. No matter what our situation is, there is a path that we can take. There is a lane that we can navigate on while remaining on the straight path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is His blessing to us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also describes the straight path as being moderate. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. A moderate, just people. And that is our path of Islam. And when you look at the various opinions out there in the world, the various ways of life, you find two extremes. You find the far right and you far left. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about philosophies, styles of life, lifestyles, right? You have the far right and you have the far left. Most of the time, the Islamic opinion is in the middle, between the two extremes. And we Muslims, pre-9/11, were dealing with a more far right understanding of Islam that was really a cultural Islam, not an academic or a knowledgeable, or Islam based on scholarship and knowledge. Post 9/11, that took a drastic change. Now we are finding strands of Muslims who are far left. And it is problematic because as parents or as youth, they have yet to understand the harms of the far left. Take, for example, shows which a lot of youth listen to watch. Family Guy, South Park, and you see the blasphemy that they present. How they portray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as this old man running around and doing things that if you knew your kids were doing, there would be big punishment. They portray Isa alayhi salam as this gangster with two pistols going around and in the movie. They portray prophets as indecent individuals in a funny way. And the youth are watching this and they're laughing. This is blasphemy. It is very, very, very serious in Islam. Even if you don't believe it, but you laugh at it, you are accountable for that. It is blasphemy. Be careful what you watch. And know, yes, that the left style of life, they embrace Muslims in a time where we find very little allies. But know at the same time that their philosophy says your religion is irrelevant. Your Islam treats women bad. Your Islam is backwards. Don't forget the other aspect of it. Islam is between the two. It is moderate. It is not ultra-conservative to where it chokes the person. But it's not ultra-liberal to where do whatever you want, it is okay. We have red lines. There are boundaries. We do not transgress those boundaries. We do not go against them. As the Prophet ﷺ says, كَالرَّاعِ يَرْعَى حَوْلَ الْحِمَى, that there is a shepherd goes around a fenced area. You keep going around that, you're eventually going to fall in. You'll eventually fall in, and you'll fall into the haram. Be careful what your kids watch. Yes, there are virtues to liberalism. There are virtues to conservatism. But there are also harms in each. We need to be on the middle path. And that is the path of as-sirat al-mustaqim, the one who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with. Remember that. And we look at the shows your kids watch, and youth, do not watch these shows. I advise you, sincere advice, do not watch these shows. It is serious. God is becoming this toy you mock. That's what it is. Because what? He's irrelevant. We don't need him. We as human beings are able to live our lives in a good way without God. Why do we need God? We reject this. Allah is a red line. We will never cross that line. And we reject anyone who crosses it. This is as-sirat al-mustaqim. And the third point, or the third attribute of as-sirat al-mustaqim, that this path is the path of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. The title of as-sirat al-mustaqim is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. There is nothing worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his last and final messenger. And what these two phrases are saying, these two sentences are saying, is that we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in submission. Meaning our religion is submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We worship Him on His terms, not ours. And that is why scholars are very peculiar in the way they present worship in Islam. And they made the maxim, the rule, the principle that any act of worship that there is no evidence in the Quran or the Sunnah, we reject it. It is not an act of worship. Why? Because we submit to Allah on His terms, not ours. Because if we were to say we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way we want to, are we really submitting to Him, or are we submitting to ourselves? We worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way He told us to, in submission, with sincerity. And we remember the one who we prostrate our heads to. That He is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Malik, Al-Quddus, Al-Salam, Al-Mu'min, Al-Muhaymin, Al-Aziz, Al-Jabbar, Al-Mutakabbir. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We prostrate our heads, we submit to the one who took all of this knowledge and packaged it for us in a sirat al-mustaqim. We submit our heads to the one who is so merciful to us that He will keep giving us chances and chances and chances until we follow that straight path. We submit our heads to the one who left us a book, preserved, a promise from Him, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ, that we are the ones, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who sent down this book, the Quran, and He is the one who's going to preserve it for us. And that is a great blessing. So anyone who says, no, the Quran is not right, or the Quran is changed, or the Quran is missing a verse, or added a verse, we say that is completely refuted, because Allah said so. We prostrate our heads to the one who sent us messenger after messenger, prophet after prophet, until He left us with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of the best, as a role model. And He preserved His biography through the science of hadith. So He is the most well-studied individual in human history. We know every aspect of His life. How He was before a prophet, how He was after a prophet, how He was in Mecca, how He was in Medina, how He was as an oppressed individual, and how He was as a political leader, how He was as a friend, how He was as a husband, how He was in times of hardship, how He was in times of ease. So no matter what your situation is, the Prophet ﷺ has an aspect of his life that is relevant to you as an individual. We prostrate our heads to that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who blessed us with every single blessing. So we worship Allah based on His terms, we submit to Him sincerely, and we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way the Prophet ﷺ taught us to. That is how we worship Him, because that is true submission. If the Prophet ﷺ did it, then we do it as well. That is true submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلُوا قَوْلِي هَذَا وَأَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. But dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the straight path is Allah's gift to us, and He made it easy for us to follow. So grab onto it, hold tight to it, and follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us. Conform to it, submit to it. When He says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا, grab on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, each and every single one of you, as individuals, as a community. And know that when you grab onto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rope, you have grabbed onto something that will protect you, that will strengthen you, that will give you happiness in this life and the next life. Obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command when He says, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ أُدْخُلُوا فِي السِّلْمِ كَافَّةً وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطْوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. O mankind, enter Islam. Enter a state of submission that is complete and holistic. Every aspect of your life, discover, understand, learn how to submit it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because through that you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What more do you want than that? Through that you protect yourselves from the things that we try protecting ourselves from. We buy insurances, we buy all these things to preserve our well-being, to take care of ourselves in times of needs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He will do that for us. I'm not saying don't get insurances, we do that, but this is an addition. This is the root, the foundation. Grab on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the rope of La ilaha illallah. Enter a state of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is holistic and complete. And remember the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was with his companions and he took a stick and drew a straight line in the sand. And out of that straight line he put other lines. And says, you see this straight line, this is the straight path, this is a sirat al-mustaqim. And all of these other paths are paths that deviate from this sirat al-mustaqim. And at the door of each of these deviant paths is a devil waiting, is someone, a person calling to it. So be careful of them. And in order to recognize that, in order to protect ourselves, we need to learn. We need to learn. We need to learn more about Islam. We need to learn about the straight path. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, you as Muslims, your legacy is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And your legacy is found through the straight path. And the straight path is for anyone and everyone seeking to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is simple and it is effective. It is beautiful, but it is simple as well. Be amongst those who follow the straight path and know that on the end of the straight path is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His paradise. Know that on the straight path is your happiness, your well-being, your success. What better do you want? Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who made the straight path for us, is the same one who created all of these sciences that all go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of these sciences lead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so let us be among those who follow the straight path. Say Ameen. We have a few announcements. Brother Muhammad Naseem passed away in Pakistan. Also, Brother Mahmoud Ibrahim Mithaq passed away in Damascus, Syria. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless them and forgive them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to overlook any shortcomings and any sins. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept their good deeds and to increase them in good deeds. There's no programs this weekend, tonight and tomorrow. So the Quran class tonight and my OC, as well as Speak Your Mind tomorrow, they've all been canceled due to Thanksgiving break. Let us speak about marijuana, a presentation offered by Dr. Khalid Khan from UCLA. He's a psychiatrist from UCLA. Will be presented for the youth and their parents on Friday, November 30th at 6 p.m. So please do join us. OCIF's Umrah trip is on December 22nd to December 31st. Please contact Adam Travel for any information and check the flyer outside for more information. The deadline is coming up for the Umrah. If you can send your kid or you can go yourself, Umrah is a trip that you will not regret taking. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always give us the chance to visit His house of worship. OCIF's annual blood drive is on Sunday, January 6th, so please log in to redcross.org, sign up and donate blood using the OCIF code. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات يا رب العالمين. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who live Surah Al-Fatiha. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who are on the straight path, those who follow the sunnah of the prophets and the pious people before us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us and to make us among those who are who achieve His pleasure in this life and the next life. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enhance our iman, to strengthen our knowledge. Ameen. Wa aqimus salat.